So most of you already know that what we've had to do with Apex is just cancel everything for the summer because of COVID-19. And, it's one of those things where you knew there was writing on the wall, you just didn't want to look up and read it. And so it was pretty obvious what to do with college students. International travel was shut down pretty quick in this season. And so we had no choice but to shut down our college trips. But we did hold out hope that we would be able to do ministry with our domestic partners. And it became more and more clear as the weeks and the months rolled on that it just wasn't going to happen. So we had to make the really difficult decision to shut down our youth group trips that we do for the summer. And, everybody understands why we have to do it, but it still doesn't feel good. And it's pretty disappointing to shut all that down.
And I think the hard part is that all year you've been planning and getting ready and gearing up for what is the main part, all of our summer trips.
Right. Our team works all year long to provide these opportunities for students to get a taste of missions, to be the pipeline for Apex to help hopefully put more students on the mission field in the future, and then all that just gets the pause button put on it.
But I think for the team, it's really given you the ability to focus on some things that when you're getting ready for summer trips, a lot of times you just have to focus on that, and there's other things that you can't. So
yeah, by the time February, March rolls around, we're really in full swing of like pre-trip planning and helping students or groups be ready to go. So this year, instead of having to do that, we've really refocused all of our efforts, and we've been able to do some things that we never really get around to. Like on the college side, we've written a whole new training material for the trips for 2021. We've written a devotional and created some tools and revamped some of our pre-trip and our post-trip stuff, and took a hard look at our orientation and debrief and how we do that well. And we were able to refocus our energy on 2021 and the things that we could do really well for that. So
still plenty to do.
Yeah, it's still plenty to do. It's just
we aren't putting students in the pipeline.
Yeah, we don't get to see their faces. We don't get to interact with people. We don't get to be a part of their journey. We just have to push the pause button on that. Yeah, it's been a little disorienting, but I think our team's come through once we realized, and once we kind of put the period on that sentence of like, yes, the summer is canceled, period. We were able to go into work mode and start to figure out some of the other things that we had to do. So from an Apex perspective, our summer's canceled, but we still have hope that God's going to use it for His purposes. And we know that there's a lot of students who want to go, and there's a lot of youth groups who want to go. And so as soon as we can, we'll start opening the opportunity up next summer.
Well, and the same as Apex has had to refocus. I know all of us are having to kind of refocus things and prioritize things differently than we did in the past. I know for our family, it's been a challenge. There's silver lining in this interesting season of life. I know the other day David and I were driving in the car, and it was June 1st, and we were like, where did the time go? It's like a black hole.
Yeah, where did March, April, and May go?
A black hole in this year. And in that time, I was furloughed. There's no substitute teaching jobs, so I've been home and trying to find things to do, and there's plenty to do, but it's different. I'm not getting to see my students. I'm not getting to influence those lives. I really miss it, and I didn't get to say goodbye, so that's been sad. The boys are home, finished up the school year online.
It's no secret that I hated school.
Bueller.
I was not good at school. I stumbled across my freshman report card in a box of stuff the other day, and I had to show it to both of my boys to let them know that their dad was not the greatest student in the world. My GPA at the end of my freshman year, let's just say it was under a 2. But
and that was not me.
no,
We're
Shauna.
very different that way.
Shauna's like, yeah, she's a great student. You know, she had all the tassels at Moody. I was lucky to have a robe.
It was tough for me, so back off!
But like many of you, we've had to try to navigate how to finish the school year, and you know, motivation levels are just not there, especially in our school district where the fourth quarter really didn't count for anything on the final grade. I mean, it did, but it really wouldn't impact the boys' final grades at all. And so yeah, Will and I have had some conversations. He and I think a lot alike, and like, all right, if it's not going to impact your
motivation,
if you don't have the motivation, it's not going to impact your grade. Okay. And so we've had to work through some of that stuff, but we also have a senior in our house. And a couple days ago was supposed to be graduation day for Tyler. And, you know, we had in our mind's eye the cap and gown and the commencement and the big group of people and walking across the stage and cheering and all that kind of stuff. And none of that's happening. And so,
silver lining is I'm not as emotionally unstable
I'm entering a sadness spiral.
right now than maybe I would be otherwise.
yeah, we haven't had to face the reality that our son is done with high school.
Right.
So,
And they have all kinds of alternative plans coming up. This next, the week of the 15th is when all of our graduation things are going to be happening. But yeah, for Tyler, he actually doesn't really care.
he could care less about it all.
And-
He's already moved on to what's next.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting season for sure. And there's if we're not careful, you know this too. If you're not careful, you can really slide into some pretty
into despair. Just
Yeah.
kind of focused on all of the
all the things that we're missing.
mourning
Yeah.
a lot, sad a lot about all the things that got canceled, all the things that we can't do. And it's easy to kind of get in a funk. So
Yeah, and a couple weeks ago, we kind of got to a point where it was like, all right, well, this isn't gonna end anytime soon, and it's not gonna change. So we're gonna have to choose how we respond to this whole season. And so we just started saying we're just gonna choose joy. Like, we know that it stinks to have vacations canceled, and it stinks to have school canceled, and not be able to see friends, and not be able to be with our life group, and not be able to go to church, and we had to choose that in the midst of all the things that we couldn't do. We had to choose what we were going to do. And so one day we just said, you know what? We're getting out of this house. We're just going to choose joy. We're going to choose to go outside and experience something that we normally wouldn't experience. And
well, and I think in this season, we've tried to find a lot of times to let's get out into nature. And, we've gotten to go on quite a few hikes we haven't been able or haven't ever done before, and got to do them as a family in a lot of cases. And David and I took a hike to a place we'd never been before. And on that hike, we really just were processing things and talking about, this season. And, there's a lot of things that can be paralleled just to what we're going through right now.
yeah, if you've been on a trail that you've never been on before, it's all new, and you have no idea what the payoff is at the end of that hike. You don't know if it's going to be an overlook. You may have an idea because someone told you, but it's really about putting one foot in front of the other. And this trail that we did was straight up most of the way for a couple of miles to an overlook that we knew we were going to get to, but you're just wondering, when is this going to end? When are we going to get there? How much longer? What's just around the next bend? What's over the next hill? And so, we just said the payoff is worth it. So on a trail that you don't know what's around the next bend. You don't know what's at the next trail marker. You don't really know where you're headed, but you do know that you've got to put one foot in front of the other and head in the direction that you've determined. For us right now, we have no idea when this pandemic is going to calm down. We have no idea when the unrest in our country is going to calm down, but what we do know is that we have a choice to make, and that choice is to choose to follow God and what He's asking us to do, choose to submit to His will, choose to put one foot in front of the other, and choose to have joy in the midst of some really difficult things.
Yeah, I really think that the day we went on the hike, it was just good processing, and along the way, even though the hike was hard to the top, we were able to stop and enjoy things along the way. And if you focus on the difficulty of it, then you can really ruin the experience, But when you start to kind of move outside of yourself and how you're feeling or how hard it is, and you start looking around and, like we said, choosing joy. What is there good? Where's the silver lining? What are things that we can celebrate? What's a blessing? And what can we be thankful for? And there's so much. And I know you all are experiencing the same thing, but it just was a really good day for us to kind of, just be able to talk about it and process.
So while there's not a whole lot to report on the side of ministry that we are involved in, we'd love to be showing you pictures and introducing you to college students and youth groups and helping you see what we're doing this summer. There's not a whole lot to report there. We do just want to say thank you for being a part of our ministry and a part of our life. We love that you are on this journey with us in the highs and the lows. And I'm not sure if this is a high or a low or somewhere in between, but we're really grateful that you're a part of what we're doing and supporting us, putting more and more missionaries on the field. We know that there's a day coming where there's going to be a lot of students that are going to be participating. We've already heard people saying, hey, I couldn't do it this year, but I'm ready to go next year already. So we just know that opportunity is going to be there, and we want to be as ready and prepared as we possibly can. And so that's what our team's working on. That's what we're preparing ourselves for. And we'll just be ready to do whatever God puts in front of us. And so we're just making the choice to put one foot in front of another and choose joy and choose to be a part of what God is doing and make the most of this season.
I'm not saying it.
What's the temperature
I'm not
like?
going to say it.